Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Lights, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you're looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapters 50 of A Series of Death. The building Chakon led him to was large, looked in good condition, and other than the empty parking lot and sign on the open fence gate saying the facility was closed and off limit, it looked like it could still be operational. There had been more written, but Trembor hadn't paid attention beyond noticing the word lawsuit. The gate had been held closed at one point by a chain, which was now on the side of the road, mostly hidden by the overgrown grass. He drove around the building. As much as he wanted to rush in and save his brother, he had to know what he was getting into. There could be dozens of criminals there. For all he knew, this was a crime central now that the company had shut it down. The main entrance was a glass door, now painted opaque to prevent looking in, and more warning, it was closed. No, more warning, business. Actually, no, more warning, the building was off limit. And more warning, the building was off limit. The side of the building had two marked employee doors and three unmarked doors without exterior handle. Emergency exit. Anyone could flee through. The back door, the back had loading docks all against the wall, none with trucks. Another way they could escape. The other side was a mirror of the first one. Two usable door, three not. This was where he found the van parked by the door closer to the back of the building. As he drove by it, it was obvious how they'd expected anyone to come in. The front was out of the question, as were the docks. One had to be watched, and the other would require tools to cut through. The employee door on the other side. Call it in, he told himself. You can't take on all of them on your own. Only there was just the van there. He'd expected more vehicle. They'd be parked at one of the nearby facilities, he decided, to maintain the illusion this was unoccupied. If he called it in, he was handing the situation over to someone who might not have his brother's best interest at heart. Trevor wasn't interested in taking down the criminals. All he cared about was saving his brother. And go hunter on whoever had hurt him, he told himself. There was no way he could afford everyone in there. He drove out of the lot and parked at the one next to it. His only option was to sneak in, find his brother, and sneak both of them out. Maybe I could ask Elnard to lend me his female. She's the one with the experience doing action movies. He chuckled bitterly as he remembered how enamored with her movies Marlot had become. He walked back to the facility, pad in hand, trying to convince himself involving the officer wasn't just the right way to do this, it was the only way. He stayed by the fence to lower the odds of being spotted until he was by the corner and then hurried to the building, finally putting it away. It would take too long for the enforcer to organize and get here. He looked around the corner, searching for anyone guarding the doors. They had to know he was here, at least suspect his driving away was a ploy. That mole hat seemed too smart to leave anything to chance. He saw the cameras, but they were angled to detect approaching vehicles, so if they had someone watching them, they already saw him. No guards outside meant they were inside. The closest door was the obvious choice, so he walked past it. He looked the first decommissioned door over. He looked over the first decommissioned door for any way he could open it, but the gap between the door and the jamb was covered, and while he could slip a claw in, trying to pull it would just break them. As he reached his target door, someone rounded the other corner and they both froze. Trevor had a moment of conflicting emotion, irrational anger that this wolf was behind it all. Again, irrationally that this wolf was behind it all again, and unadulterated joy at seeing him. He shoved both down. He didn't have the time for this wolf and his games. He had to rescue his brother. What are you doing here? He demanded. Trembor demanded. And that concludes chapter 50 of A Series of Death. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the story as well as the other books in the series, they are available at all major e-retailer. If you want a different way to support me, that is my Patreon. And if you're looking to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.